Hello. I don't know if anybody's going to join, but that's okay. I just had a last minute sort of idea. Um, and I'm not going to get a lot of time to reach out and contact folks and talk in the upcoming. Hello, Vig. I'm not going to have a lot of time. So I just thought that I would pop on and dump a few of my brain things here and see if anybody else is kind of seeing. Hi, hello. Um, and so I've been thinking about all of the crap with, hidden true crime and the crossover I see with like Murder Sheet and things like that. And I think that there's a lot of stuff that's been coming out, and a lot of disturbing stuff about when creators or reporters or whoever um, become the story or, from what I've seen, use victims in a way that's super grody, inappropriate, unethical, etc. And I know the kind of I have been wondering a lot about um, Dr. John. And so I was very, very interested to kind of go poking around because for people that don't know me, I've looked into another reporting couple that has a journalist and a professional um, husband and wife duo. And that's Murder Sheet in Delphi, where there's a reporter and a lawyer, some concerning things across ethical lines. They're very much a part of the Delphi story by design, I think. But then also seeing it then play out in another husband and wife team that is a reporter and a forensic psychologist, I'm like, it's interesting. And they're both equally litigious. Um, Murder Sheet's very litigious. We've seen that now Hidden True Crime is very litigious, whether it's through copyright strikes or actual lawsuits or whatever the case may be. And so I'm like, the thing is that it was really easy to find information on Murder Sheet. It's Anya Kane and Kevin Greenlee. Kevin Greenlee's a lawyer. It's really easy to look up his bona fides, right? Because he's a barred member. So you go on the website, clickety clack, there he is. Now, has he tried shit? No. And is he a criminal lawyer or anything like that? Hell no. But anyway, my point is that it's pretty easy to find information on him. It has not been so easy to find information on John Matthias. Now, I know he went to Princeton and he does have a psychology degree, albeit through the education department at USC, which is totally valid. But, with all of the audio that's been coming out from the body cam footage, most recently that I think Hella, Excited Utterance has done a lot of work on this, and Jay has played a lot of it. The thing that struck me the most was how, and if you've heard it, you've heard it. And what was so interesting to me is that at a certain point on these videos, John is on the phone, and John sounds really scared of what may or may not come out about them. And let me see if I can find it because I was able to find some information on our friend Dr. John, but let me first find the reason that I was sorry. Let's see. That's part 2. I don't want that. Hold on.
Depends on your.
Sorry, I'm not prepared. Like I said, I just kind of seat of the pants. I'm just looking for raw. Well, there were a few things. So, hang on a second.
No, and he understands that. Officer, what was your last name? I'm sorry. Bowlby. He's
okay. Hang on. Let me see if I can bring this up because I want to talk about this, because it makes me concerned, and because again, I see patterns. It's just kind of the way my brain works. I see patterns of across these two reporting duos of being inserted into really serious criminal cases. And there's actually mental health components to each and a level of involvement in Delphi of Richard Allen's lawyer. Hi, hello, people made it. Okay, hi. I know, last minute. We're just spitballing. So, so Monica Walla, who lost her job for being a part of all of these true crime chat groups about the Delphi case specifically, and then going on to actually be his counselor in prison, where one might speculate that let me make sure I have this is my speculation. One might speculate that she could be telling him things, just not even meaning to, let's say, benefit of the doubt, right? So, and one of the groups that she was in was Murder Sheets, sort of like fan club group or whatever. So that was weird, right? So that was real effing weird. And then there's a whole leak situation with Murder Sheet smack dab in the middle that called into, in my opinion, some of the ethical boundaries of being a lawyer contacting a third party. And so I see the same things happening, certainly with Dr. John in his capacity as a mental health professional, and he is licensed and he does have his PhD. So all of those things are true. But I want to peel sort of the drama away from this, because I think that there's something weird going on here. And it's not just, I don't think that it has as much to do. And again, see my speculation banner? Speculation banner. So the speculation banner is that it has more to do with John and maybe what he did or did not do. I don't know, professionally. Because of, and let me share, see if I can share my screen, because, and I honestly don't know. Hang on one second. Yeah. And I honestly don't know where this came from originally. And I think it was Mr. Bright Breakfast or something like that. But Jay put something up, and it was the raw video. And I'm not going to belabor this, but I just want to play a little of this audio because this is what really kind of cued me in. So, and it was when they're on the phone with Dr. John. So let me know if y'all can hear this.
and, we're working with circumstantial evidence right now. We know that. You understand, again, that
Can you hear that?
You're victimizing the victim. So first we're like, well, we know we could figure out the source from and have all the information. We said, Gigi.
So can you hear that? Yes. Okay. So, okay.
Who wouldn't consider me a friend right now, but she had the information, and so she was gonna call her, and now I'm rethinking because I think that
So she's on the phone, from what I can understand, with Dr. John, and here's the long-suffering Henderson Police Department. I want to send this guy an edible arrangement, y'all, because he's out here doing the Lord's work. He is out here doing heavy lifting in the community. Uh, and wow, this guy, poor guy. Anyway, so he's out here listening to this call, and this is the part that pricked my ears. Okay.
put fuel on the fire. I'm just thinking about protecting everyone else. Do we want him to? I don't know if we should have him right now because I don't want to hurt. Like, would that like make them release stuff now because they're angry, right? Is this the Streisand effect where, you know?
So, can you hear me?
He can hear you, or you're on.
The most important thing is we're about to have, you know, all our hard work is about to be threatened to go down the drain.
All of our hard work is about to be threatened to go down the drain. Okay. All right.
Right. Like, I mean, my goal is to get them to stop.
So all of our, I think I'm hearing this right. Now I need somebody to give me a gut check here because I could be making a mountain out of a molehill. But when I heard that, I was like, well, wait a minute. If it's just, high school bitchy girl shit, why would that threaten everything? Why would that threaten everything? I mean, honestly. So and again, I don't know if I'm reading too much into what he's saying or if he too is histrionic. Again, you see my speculation banner. Is that seems like an intense thing to say. That seems like a very intense thing to say. Now, we know from Kresha and her mother, and just that Lauren's talked or either talked or texted about the families, something rotten. And I don't know. Hey, Salty. Is John aware of how, I don't even know how bad her texts are. So I don't know. But my thing is that, to me, Lauren has, as a journalist, right? So as a reporter or whatever you want to call that, has an ethical standard to live up to. She failed. She failed utterly and is continuing to fail, especially after copyright striking. Kresha and Kay Woodcock, grandmother of little JJ Vallow. So, and, brother Charles, that showed her whole entire ass. So my thing is, okay, so they're smack talking their cash cow. Who are they moving on to next? Bad people fail up in this world. Shitty people fail up in this world, right? So I honestly, if these are private texts to me, I wouldn't be like, everything that we built is going to come crumbling down. That seemed like, holy crap, that seems to be an issue. So let me just play that back again. And I might be hearing, you know what? Listen, be straight with me. If you hear something different, if I'm making too much out of this, you know, but I don't know, man. God,
Meet the
are you
system that
kidding?
is behind the
Hang on.
revolution of
Sorry.
digital learning.
Give
The
Jay
OpenEdX platform.
You know, that's where it's like I don't know before. We have a police officer here. You know, a lot
Sometimes
of
there's a case like
neighbors.
neighbors, problems with neighbors. Sometimes they don't want us to contact the neighbor because they're afraid it will inflame things.
Right, so he's understanding, I just want you to know, at first we're like, we just gave him, what we've explained right now is like, look, I am the victim, but we have a big concern about the actual victims in the cases we cover and then being re-victimized by my pieces, by my private messages that come out. So at first, I just want you to know, and he understands that. Officer, what was your last name? I started.
Bovey.
He's great. And
Send that man an
we're
edible
looking for
arrangement.
circumstantial evidence right now. We know that he understands again that we don't victimize the victim. But first, we're like, well, we know we could figure out the source from and have all the information. He said, Gigi, who wouldn't consider me a friend right now, but she had the information, and so he was going to call her. And now I'm rethinking because I think that could put fuel on the fire. I'm just thinking about protecting everyone else. Do we want him to? I don't know if we should have him call Gigi right now or not. He wants to know because I don't want to hurt. Like, would that like make them release stuff now because they just want to get it over? They're angry, right? Is this the Streisand effect where, you know?
So, can you hear me?
He can hear you or you're on.
The most important thing is we're about to have, all our hard work is about to be threatened or go down the drain in a bit.
What I'm most concerned about, he says, what I'm most concerned about is that all of our hard work is being threatened or about to go down the drain. That's what I heard. Now, if it's Lauren's texts alone, I don't know how that threatens Dr. John's integrity. Because if I remember from Kresha and her mother's live, was that it seemed like there was still a possibility to reach out to Dr. John. So I don't know if he's just saying our work as being married to this woman, but to me, it's, hear me out now. What are you guys' thoughts? Let me say hello to some people. I want to move. So that's really all I wanted to play from that because everybody's heard it. We don't need to hurt feelings, tank their business. See, I just don't see it. I mean, people are fickle. I'm starting to wonder. Huh? I've not heard that. I've not heard that. Somebody's asking, did Crush's case get dismissed? Yeah, I believe we're going to talk a little bit about the copyright board because this is another pattern of crappy creators out there. But so I started thinking a lot of problems finding Dr. John's credentials. And again, he is who he says he is. He does have a PhD in counseling and psychology. So, I mean, he does have all of those things. Now, I don't know where the fuck he did his clinicals to get his clinical psychologist bona fides. I've not been able to locate him in witness databases. And there are such things like, expert witness databases that are utilized by the federal government because he claims to have been, in the, let me just pull this up. I better make sure that's down. All right. So but you have to know, wait, but you have to know what will tank their business. See, here's so here's what I was able to find about the most recent stuff about Dr. John. And so if I can't find things about him, I'm going to, and this is honestly, this is open source journalism, right? Open source using public information, public documents, and getting kind of crafty with the old Google machine, or giving it a Cecil. If you're from Delphi, you know that. Give it a Bing, ask Jeeves, whatever it is. So it's hard to find things about John. I found his dissertation, which is disturbing and incredibly short. So I started looking into UNLV, and I know that there were some things, and this is not, by the way, this is not stalking, Lauren, or Grayson. This is just due diligence. Okay. Just due diligence. So I was like, well, let me look into, who he has advised. And if people have done this and this is a redo, just go walk off. Just say I've had enough. I'm getting the fuck out of here. But I looked up some of the doctoral students who he supervised. And man, oh man, I find it very, very interesting because dissertations are public. They're either on like I found these through the UNLV site, but there's other professional websites like PubMed and all this other shit that has these things. So this, and let me know if you can see this. So here is, this is a gentleman who was utilizing, so now this dissertation is like, for a master's degree, is over 300 pages. John's dissertation for his doctorate was 179 pages. I'm barely clearing my throat at 179 pages. So get it together. Anyway, so, you know, when you're doing your dissertation, you give all of your experience. Okay. And so this gentleman who wrote this lists his clinical experience. And I want you to notice the date. I want you to look at the dates on here with me, because it's my understanding that John Matthias did not have didn't have a practice in 2020. Now, I was able to see that he worked out of the same offices as the acronym is FACT, and it's like Families and Children's Services, whatever. So he was working, doing groups and things like that. And I think some of that's reflected in here. You found 5 of the dissertations and yes, yeah. So in 2020, this student who was defending their thesis said that they were a student clinician at the private practice of John Matthias, PhD. So description is forensic and clinical private practice. Again, this is in 2020, right? So their first episode of Shit About Lori and Chad come out in 2020. Right? So I don't know where he's working out of. Apparently, site description is forensic and clinical private practice. I don't know where that is, if it is. Responsibility. Assisted in an, now this is the language is important. Assisted in an ongoing psychological evaluation of a murder case. So what this gentleman just said, assisted in an ongoing psychological evaluation of a murder case. Now, maybe Dr. John's diary was jam-packed with murder cases, but including examining ethical issues, performing psychological testing and assessments relevant to murder, developing an in-depth case conceptualization, and writing and completing a full psychological report to be utilized towards a plea agreement or in trial. Assisted in an ongoing psychological evaluation of a murder case. Ongoing. Right? I mean, I don't know. You see my speculation banner down here, right? I mean, from what I could gather, he did have a private practice at some point. And he worked with this place called, and it was a nonprofit, and wasn't when they started it. It's called Family and Child Services or Family and Child Therapy. And it's through the Clark County, Nevada Wellness, something or other. And they're a legit business. I do think it's a weird nonprofit model, yet whatever. Anyway, and he did work at that location with groups and things like that. But by 2020, I don't know, man. Sorry, what are you trying to say? Until you said preparing a thing for trial, he was counting the speculation he does. Oh, that could be. And you know what? You might be right. And that might be it. But it begs a sort of question, doesn't it? I mean, here's what I know about, this is the only information I have about how they've done their ethics, their ethos, their ethics as podcasters, is that Lauren released, and you can make of it what you will. I don't give a shit. For me, it's a bridge too far. Released a in the Murdaugh murder, Alec Murdaugh and his lawyer were yip-yapping on the phone, and Lauren released the audio, I believe, or maybe a transcript. Now, again, does it mean anything? I don't know. But you don't do that. That's a no-no. And you know, those kinds of things, I am not a lawyer. I just play one for the court of my cat. But, you know, if I had a journalist leaking attorney-client privilege phone calls and I was an appeals attorney, whoa. I mean, I would be like, huh, where'd that come from? Was it from a FOIA? Yes, it was. Huh, okay, interesting. Where did that come from? You don't do that. The way that I've seen them now act after the fact with Kresha and the Vallow Daybell family, well, it says to me that they're scummy, right? They're kind of gross. Just gross. So, oh, I did a whole screed on that fig. It was so irresponsible what they did with regard to Richard Allen. And that was when I sent a note saying you need to correct your error. because it's egregious and it was not true. They allege that Mr. Allen had a domestic violence charge. He did not, or an incident. It was not. It was a self-harm incident, and Dr. John got up there and just belted out that, oh, see, there it is. He's not an out of the blue killer. It was real weird and real gross. Yeah, Osbrook's in the chat. It's not leaking. No, I'm not saying it's leaking, playing it. So maybe I said leaking. That's not what I meant. I think that for me, ethically, as a journalist, I would not play an attorney-client phone call. I just wouldn't. And that's my bar. I mean, I'm not doing that. So, and that might be, that might not be the case for everybody. But my point is that when I'm looking at this and I'm thinking about some of the people that he's worked with, and let me see if I can take this down for a minute. So you see where I'm going here, right? It feels a little coinky dink because when I went to, because I'm like, well, maybe he is an expert witness, because one of the things he says here, I'll go to here, their sort of self-description from their, this is from 2020. Yeah. So this is from August 2020 when they are evaluating Lori Vallow Daybell, right? Okay. So he graduated with honors. Yes. Philosophy. Yes. Right. He received doctorate. Yes, he did. Okay. Has acquired enormous depth and breadth of psychological knowledge over his 20-year career as a psychologist, including forensic, clinical, family, and organizational psychology. So this is the part. In the forensic context, he's assessed hundreds of high-risk felons for community placement, developing expertise, personality assessment, and hidden behavioral motivation. Where does he say it? Where did he say? Shit, where did I read it? Where he I mean, I know he talks about it. Here it is. Okay. He's a federal expert witness, an adjunct professor at UNLV. Federal expert witness. So then I went to, so I don't know if people know this or not, but there's databases and where experts throw their name into the ring. I mean, we saw it in the Karen Reed case with old Hoosie Poops. Shit, what's the name of that? Help me out. The Burgess kid that just straight lied all over his resume. The engineers, but anyway, but so there are prosecution side or state side or federal side, whatever. Yes, Shannon. Yes. Oh, woman, thank you, God, Shannon. Oh, God love you, you little fella. But anyway, so there's places you can go and find these folks. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go poke around in some of the databases. And there's a lot of different databases. And you can go, I just got done. Let me see here. Nevada Forensic Psychology Expert Witnesses. Let me try. And I mean, he didn't turn up, which means nothing, because again, these are databases and some of these you need to buy into or, pay to be a part of. Let's look in Utah. Now, let me just see here. Let's do federal. Government expert witnesses, blah, blah, blah. So these are all, you can see what I'm talking about here. pre-screened expert witnesses. Let's see what these mother scratchers are all about. This looks sketchy as hell. Well, okay. You see what I'm talking about here, right? So there's databases. I'm not going to sign up for your email. Let's see. Expert Institute. See, some of these don't have open search engines. Seek. Federal government. Oh. Is this the thing? Is Osbrook around? Is this the thing? Aperture, yes. Oh, let's see. I mean, look, maybe he's so elite that people just come to him. I mean, I don't know. Let me see. Yeah. But anyway, so you can poke around in the databases. Yeah, that's another thing. And it might not have been murder. Like, honestly, here's the thing about federal cases, it doesn't have to be murder. So that's a good point. There's very few of those, relatively speaking, to state level. I mean, I think the federal stuff, obviously, if you go on to listen to the rest of that call where Dr. John is advising the poor long-suffering officer that they really need to get the FBI involved, I'm like, sir, yes, the FBI wants to get involved in your spat. But FBI deals with, like, I mean, he talks about working with sex offenders and things like that. It very well could be like an interstate CSAM. I just have no idea. Maybe you know, and maybe you don't. Do you know where? I was just looking through some federal databases about where to find experts. So, I mean, we know about the stuff Aperture in the Karen Reed case, and a lot of it has to do, are more likely in civil or car wrecks. But I mean, is there just sort of an industry wide where if you need a clinical psychologist, you go and look? I mean, I don't know, don't care. I mean, I do care, but so yeah, I don't think there's a federal murder case, but I mean, if there was, you'd be able to find it, right? So anyway, then I'm left to just kind of go around the edges and look and see what we can find. And so this again is from, I think this was 2022. This dissertation, I believe, is from. So it just makes me wonder. So what were they working on? What was the ongoing psychological evaluation of a murder case? I mean, was he literally? I mean, I don't know. In 2020? No. No. Oh, no. I see what you mean. That. Stay tuned for federal court in that instance. His slip, in my opinion, could be projection. No, we were just talking about what federal murder case could have been going on in the world of Dr. John Matthias in 2020. And I'm saying I do not believe that there were any, that he would have been involved. Oh, sorry. His slip. Oh, when he says that bit about the FBI. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know how people clean sweep their stuff, but man, I think it's probably more likely that maybe the gentleman just didn't make an impact. I mean, I hate to say it, you know? I mean, there are people that don't exist on the internet. I mean, there are. Um, and he does, and the thing is that he does exist on the internet. We are able to find his credentials and all that other stuff. Make of those credentials what you will. But anyway, so my point was that I'm able to pull down, you know, some of the stuff. I'm like, that's odd that he's bringing students from UNLV and supervising them to talk about, you know, to analyze murder cases, especially ethical issues, which is like, huh, that's weird. Was he working on a particular case? Had he been retained as retained by somebody? Again, you will note my speculation banner. So let me remove this for a minute. So when I was looking through the databases for expert witnesses, I did come across what an expert's, I think this is it. Oh, so I'm sorry, that's not it. Well, I came across what an actual, like an expert witness CV looks like. And the CV is, as you can imagine, huge. One moment. Oh, here it is. Fuck it. I'm not going to pull it up. I can't find it right now. Anyway, so with federal experts, with experts in general, you should be able to download a PDF of their litany of experience. Now, with his, and he was an adjunct professor, in that he supervised dissertations. I don't know what the hell goes into that. Apparently, my speculation or my opinion, actually, where's my opinion? My opinion is that maybe he was having people come on to help co-write, you know, or read through Chad Dable's book. Could you imagine that being your assignment? Oh, we cracked it. Oh my God. Could that have been it? Maybe. Wouldn't that be something? Anyway, so the other dissertation I came across was, I mean, there's a few, you can find them. And so this was another one that I found that he was sitting and see here, but here's another one. So, beyond the veil, search for let's see. So here's another one from 2020 to 2023. And this is, I you know, I'm not showing the name of the person who did the dissertation, but you can find it. So again, here he is doing from 2020 to 2023, this supervised practicum experience, psychological practicum trainee. So practicums mean you have to, it's what it sounds like, right? It's hands-on. I mean, shit, man, I don't know. My friend Maggie's a clinical psychologist, and she had to do rounds in the prison system. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Yes, and it was, so that was the thing. He wasn't getting paid for the work he was doing and whatever. But yeah, he still was an adjunct. And adjuncts that do teach don't get paid shit. My husband was an adjunct at LaGuardia Community College. John stole his evaluation of Chad and Lori and presented it as his own podcast. Oh, question mark. I have no idea. None. I've still not gotten word on what Soap and Clay we're dealing with. And I've asked you repeatedly, Mrs. Soap and Clay. You say, so my dad is a university president. My mom is a psych professor for graduate programs in psychology. They find it baffling he's mentoring PhD, but not tracked by the university. And that's a really good point. So is he? I mean, I know that when, hang on one second. You guys are going to have to just look at my wall. I forgot my damn notebook. I wrote this down. Oh, no, I didn't. Ah. Woohoo! You get nothing but top class reportage when you come along this way. So I do know that there was a letter released after Christina contacted UNLV because she got the ick as well, sort of wondering what the hell was going on. And I thought I wrote it down. I couldn't find the McCosh thesis prize either. Did anybody find that? The McCosh thesis prize? Oh, so I think it was a Dr. Nellie Mihalik. I don't know. She's supervisor of UNLV psychology, and she issued a letter or something just saying that he was an adjunct professor. But so I don't know how UNLV does it. You know, I really don't. I haven't looked that deeply into it. You've told you make soap and clay. God damn it. I gotta write that. I'm making a note. Soap and clay. Soap and clay. Okay. You're in the book. I don't know. So what is the mechanism of oversight? And I mean, some of these dissertations. Now, one of the other things too is that you have a faculty supervisor, yes, when you do your dissertation. So I would assume that the faculty who is assigned to be sort of your faculty mentor or whatever it is overseeing some of that. But you know, when you're at the PhD level, there's going to be a certain flexibility in how you comport your work and how. I mean, I think the instinct is to trust your students that you're advising. And many of these students, at least in the dissertations I've looked at, have just pages of experience. And so to what degree, so from what I can gather, John Matthias was one of a buttload of people that dissertation students at UNLV tapped into over the years to do some work, right? Right. So he's not. So let me clarify this, Royal Wheat. Don't remember which channel, but someone said the university had no record of his employment or any contractual agreement. And that is correct. But he's a volunteer. So some of the adjuncts apparently, and I didn't know this was a thing, in the dissertations will volunteer their time. There was a letter issued by the head of something or other at UNLV after Christina reached out that said, no, he is, you know, the title of adjunct professor, although it's a voluntary position. So yeah, but it is. But again, it's what UNLV, he gets to say it. I mean, as much as I think it's EU, he gets to say it, right? So where was I going? Oh, did you also know that how sexy would you find it if at your wedding ceremony that your betrothed um, quoted from Plato's Republic? 1 out of 10. Would you think, my God, I'm going to lick this guy up one side and down the next? Or would you be like, holy shit, what have I gotten myself into? Come here, Toots. Come on. Oh, oh, come here. Let me hold you. Come here. Oh, let go of the rug. Oh, let go of the. There she is. Oh. But he did. He quoted from Plato's Republic, and I'm like, Barf City. Barf City. There's Toots. There she is. Ah. So this is just another student from UNLV who used him as for whatever, a practical experience, a practicum. And again, it's just weird to me because I thought that kind of his full-time job or his job was the podcast. Because again, I can't see where he was working at family and child therapies beyond like 2008. But that again, that doesn't mean he wasn't working. It just means that he was maybe in private practice. I don't know. Philosophy white dudes. She is my big ass cat. Oh, ha ha. She's giant kitty. Yes. Why don't you just have a seat? God. There's 4 squirrels in our tree, and she desperately needs me to come see them when they're sitting together. And I totally get it. So, but so I didn't want to make this a really long, drawn out thing because whatever. But I did want to talk a little bit about all headhunters say gaps in CVs are suspicious. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of suspicion to go around, but I think that when I heard his voice in that audio from the body cam, which I cannot understand as a working journalist professional, you wouldn't understand you're being recorded on body cam and putting your husband and, oh, by the way, your brother who practices law in another state on the phone with a cop is not going to make its way out into the world. You're not doing a great job if you're a journalist and you think that that's not going to make it out in the world. There's something going on there. And I hope she gets some help that she needs, truly. I mean, everything aside, that she needs somebody besides John. So yeah, I think it's sketchball as fuck. So here we have psychodynamic case formulation consultation. It just sounds like blurgity blurg. Receive supervision discussing interpretation of cognitive, personality, and projective assessments, integrating psychosocial and attachment history, ethical issues. That's fascinating to me. The fuck is he talking about? Forensic psychological exam. Okay. All right. Sexual assault, murder, and domestic abuse. Huh. Oh boy. This makes me feel creepy. So this one is between 2020 and 2023. So look, the insecurity that John reeks of, in my opinion, as you can see my opinion banner, is an old bag out here living in the world. He reeks of insecurity. And I think that he tries to hide it with his bloviating bullshit hubris. And he covers it up with a smattering of, his psychological bullshit and his fart sniffing, philosophizing. And it's gross. I mean, ugh. But I think somebody that he seems incredibly insecure to me. Look, I'm working with as much information as he has about the people he pontificates about, unless he had more information that he wants to lead on. In which case, I can see where you would be concerned that your entire life or your entire work might be going down the drain. Right? Like having access to lawyers in the courtroom, utilizing. So I want to make something clear. As a reporter, you use what you can. You use whatever commonality when you're, or at least I can keep it with me when I'm speaking to somebody about a story or whatever. There's usually a point of relation, and there's like, hey, I can relate to this or I can relate to that, and have that conversation to develop a rapport. And I think that Lauren used and continues to use her Mormon faith as a way, because she does truly have access to a very interesting community that many people don't know anything about. That's okay, up until a point. So I'm wondering then, we know she jumped the shark with the Vallow family and just straight stuck her own foot up her ass and just showed how horrible she treated Crusha. We all saw it. But the John thing, it sounds like, she doesn't have a licensure at risk. And again, I don't know if there's anything to it, but I would not have been making that big of a deal out of this situation, right? So what are you guys saying? I thought John worked in prison. Who knows? Now, I mean, I can't find any work history. What's the most logical conclusions? Let me see. We might be overthinking this. Yeah, there might be nothing out there because he's done nothing. Right. Yeah, and that's kind of what I said, is that, there are some people that just don't exist on the internet, or people that are just mediocre. I mean, God knows. All I do here, let me actually make a new banner. One moment, please. I'm only ever striving toward mediocrity. So I am not saying that as a sort of weapon. He just might be mediocre as fuck. And one of the things that my mom, I was dating this idiot, okay? Notice this comment. Bizarre. Yeah. Yeah, I don't, sorry, I'm just reading comments. So my mom once said to me, I was dating this idiot and he was truly an idiot. and he was at that time older than me, but so this was a while ago. And the guy was cruising in on 40 years old. And my mom's a lot of things. A lot of things. But I'll be damned if she wasn't right, because what she said to me when I was talking about dating this guy, and she said, "Has he been married?" I said, "No." She's like, "Okay. I'm just wondering what a 40-year-old dude is doing out here, not married." Now, she is of a time, but she wasn't wrong. It is interesting. And so I thought, my mom's terrifying voice, bless her heart, screaming in the background is like, how did John make it to 50 something without being married? I don't know. It just, look, mom isn't wrong. I know. It's like, well, how do you get this far? And, well, whatever. Anyway, so it was just a little bit of old wives' tale, or little folksy gibberish from an old bat to another, to her kid. But there's something to be said for that. Yeah, and see, that's kind of it, and I don't want to make too much of it, but that's what I was like, wait a minute, what? So, I mean, and I've told all the cranks out there, you all know, I've just been married the 3 times. Just this last one's the one that stuck for, the past 16 years, 16 plus years. Takes what it takes. So I don't know. I mean, he could just be an intellectual. He could just be that guy that sits around reading. There's nothing wrong with that. But man, I don't know. So one of the other things I want to just address quickly is, was he in Bolingbrook? I think that's probably the most likely thing, B. Got to 50 by being just a pompous ass. You might be right. Wait, Salty, what'd you say? Salty, Lauren has talked about his insecurities. He's self-conscious. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, it shows. I mean, and that might be why he's making such a big deal out of it. Maybe there is no there except for the reprehensible and disgusting way that they treated victims, which in and of itself is, you don't get a pass for that. But to me, it just struck me as very strange that he was so like our entire, it was a histrionic hissy fit. I'm like, really? Everything. What does that mean? It was a lot. It was a lot. I'm sorry, what? Who wants to date a man that's dating profile is about Batman? Tell me more. Is that for real? What? Oh my God. I've got to see what you mother scratchers are up to in the chat, because you're funny as hell. I'm at 2 and very happy. Look, yeah, I plan on being married at 5 times. 3rd time's charm. 3rd time is the charm. He volunteers. Goals. Wait a minute. Somebody has to tell me. Please tell me. Look up his search term. MSL football. Okay, Bolingbrook. It's interesting. So Bolingbrook. I actually lived in Chicago for a time as well. Chicago, you name it. I've lived quite a few places. All conference team. Wait, 19, oh yeah, because he graduated, I think, in like 84 or something like that. And I think he graduated in 86 from Princeton. And then it seemed like there was a big, you know what I'm wondering? Is he the kind of guy that got a scholarship to go study abroad somewhere? Maybe. I don't know. Ew. Has a doctor. Reverend doctor. Ugh. The first marriage is always practiced. Takes 2 or 3 to, yeah. Huzzah, right? That's interesting. Just one of mine. Yeah, so I mean, maybe there's nothing there. You know, I mean, maybe there is nothing there, but it sure feels like it. And it sure feels ick. Let me see. What else was I wanting to talk to you people about? Oh, wait, he played college. Oh, I didn't know he played football at Princeton. What? Is that what you were trying to tell me, Royal Wheat? He played football at Princeton? Okay, now that can't be. All state in high school, and he played college football at Princeton. What? So that, okay, so now this is weird. Because if he played, my husband's nephew ran track at Princeton. He wasn't great, but you can find his name. So, I mean, let's give this a bing. So here we go. I didn't realize that. Was he in a football scholarship? Well, there would certainly be something out there, right? So let's bring this back up again really quickly here. So this is from, again, this is their own from August 2020. Honors, sure. But a little bit of, okay, so he played college football at Princeton. Get over here, cat. I hear you. Oh my God. Here we go. Okay. All right. Hang on. Letter winners. Okay. Oh my God. You're kidding me. I have to go through all of this. 56. Oh, okay. So he was a letter winner. Huh. Well, that's interesting. So that didn't show up. Maybe I'm running the wrong searches, y'all. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'm running the wrong searches. Interesting. Yeah, in 86. I control F'd. I know. I'm pathetic. This I have no idea. What? Oh God. Ooh. Barrington. Okay. He got a letter in 84. Okay. So let's see. So maybe that's it. I need to. Wow. All right. So maybe. Nassau Daily Review. Huh. What the fuck? Okay. Princeton football record. Yep. All right. Princeton football record book. Okay, so I'll have to, maybe I need to expand my search parameters. But I just, I just was thinking that it was interesting that the what do you call it? Just that the timing of the Vallow Daybell stuff and a few of the dissertations that he supervised coinciding at the very same time, talking about reviewing and evaluating murders. It just seemed real weird. So I don't know enough about how that system works of oversight, or I would think that he would have to actively be treating people. But I don't know. Yeah, and none of it's stalking. They're micro limited public figures or something like that. But yeah. So everybody, I think that was it. I mean, really. I did want to just about the Kresha getting her copyright thing dismissed. I think I mentioned this in somebody's chat, but I actually did I know a little bit about this. And let's see. This is, I guess I'll, 1 second, please. 1 moment, please. I'm going to pull up in Murder Sheet, I did a correlation video of outrage between Murder Sheet and Hidden True Crime. But they have a lot in common beyond dubious journalistic integrity and, in my opinion, questionable ethical, professional or lack thereof ism. But they also enjoy copyright strikes. And so when Kresha got her, I think Jay read it. And remember, I'm going to say this. Okay. This is why it started, because she DM'd me. I honestly wouldn't be interested, but she DM'd me. I think people probably know that. But that's why I was like, I guess I got to stick my toe in here. So it's in the stream somewhere. You can find it if you want to hear about it. But that's the hubris on somebody to come into my DMs and ask me to do a job for her, basically by redacting shit that she should have redacted. Nah. So Kresha got taken to CC court. Yes. But no copyright makes it hard. Yes. True. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to go back to what I was trying to share, because God damn it. Stand by. because Murder Sheet did the exact same thing to the channel Criminality. And let me share this. And Teresa over at Criminality shared this with me. And so there's some background here. And it's out there. I'm not going to show. So this was served to, okay, let me back up. So what Kresha got and what Jay read on her stream was that the copyright board basically found that they weren't in compliance with filing for a copyright. You cannot claim something with the small claims copyright claims board if you do not, in fact, own the copyright to your work, right? So they dismissed, or there's like an intent to dismiss, or whatever the case is. But the caveat, and I did tell Kresha in one of her streams that I could help her figure some of this out, just because I've looked into it, because I know Murder Sheet did it pretty aggressively with Teresa over at Criminality, is that if you don't own the copyright to your work, you don't get to strike somebody for copyright. But there is an option to amend. So theoretically, if Lauren wanted to, she could amend. She could go ahead, haul off, and do a batch registration, mass or a batch copyright of her content, and then say, okay, my shit's copyrighted. Now, I'm going to strike everybody and their monkey's uncle. But I don't think she's going to do that because of a few things. I don't know if it's 90 days. That could be right. Yep. But I don't think she's going to do it, because I think she knows that she would just absolutely get taken to the woodshed. And there's nothing to be gained from it, certainly. But she could. So she could go back and do that. So the reason I don't think she'll go forward, though, is because she didn't. Everybody knows Sleuthy, or as I call her, Sleutherson, which is her Christian name. She copyright struck Sleuthy for doing commentary over Pig Roast, which was her bullshit interview, Lauren's bullshit interview with Jerry, the Jer Bear Holman. And it was so goddamn gross. It was just like, look, it was only outdone in barf-tacularness by the Murder Sheet when they did their sort of like dry tugging around the Christmas tree with the ISP. It was disgusting. Again, you'll notice my opinion banner. She struck Sleuthy, and Sleuthy is like she doesn't put up YouTubes often. She does it very infrequently. And so she was like, fuck it. I don't care enough about, pursuing this, whatever, because Lauren then took it to the copyright board. And so she didn't do anything with it or about it. Lauren, didn't do anything, because the process is you file it. If you have the copyright, then it's approved by the committee. Then you're, as the claimant, making you have to serve it upon the person that you're making a claim against. So it has to be legally served, whether it's by email, whatever, in person, by a process server. It has to be appropriately served. And Lauren couldn't be bothered to go take that any further. And so that went away. Now, and so that's why I don't think she will. But I don't know if it's expensive. I mean, there's a filing fee. So let me see here. So what this is from Teresa over at Criminality and Murder Sheet. Murder Sheet. Let me see if this is the redacted. So this is the redacted one. So back in 2023, Murder Sheet made a strike. Can you guys see that? Against Teresa, Criminality. And again, Teresa shared these with me, but they're also online because it's public information, mother scratchers. So they filed this claim, owner, officer, partner, member. So they're making this claim, and let's see, against, that's a reference number. That's not a phone number, YouTube. Publicly displayed the work, an episode of a copyrighted podcast, the audio recordings of the script and the podcasts, right? So that's the type of work that they're claiming Teresa violated by running a critique, if you will, of their Holman interview, which was barf-tacular and filled with lies, terrible lies. Describe the infringement. YouTube channel called Bloggerty Blog, Drip by Drip, blah, 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 whatever, has inexplicably contested the removal. Oh my God, I haven't read this in such a long time. Criminality created a transcript of our scripted episode, whatever. The video was removed by YouTube, but Criminality has inexplicably contested the removal. So we no longer have access to images or videos from Criminality's original live video. Okay? We are independent creators. When YouTubers like Criminality steal our content, whether they're creating and displaying illicit transcripts, what? That's right. T is a transcript pirate. Then viewers may go to them rather than listening to our program. This undermines our work. We consider Criminality decision to post a transcript of our script without permission a very serious breach of our copyright and attack to our business, right? Wow, that sounds bad, right? That sounds really bad. That sounds like, holy shit. Teresa better be scared, but wait a minute. Bitches, the copyright board. So January 5th, shortly after that bullshit claim, the copyright board said the following. And I want you to remember that Kevin Greenlee is a lawyer. Okay? The Copyright Claims Board finds that your claim does not comply with the requirements of the Case Act and related regulations. The claim cannot move forward unless it's amended. If you wish to proceed with this claim, you must file an amended claim by February 5th, 2024. If you do not, the board must dismiss your claim without prejudice, although you may file again in the future before the board or federal court, blah, blah, blah. To make your amended claim compliant, you must resolve the issues identified below. What are the issues, right? What are the issues? And this probably is going to sound familiar. The board can only hear a copyright infringement claim if, before the claim was filed, 1, the Copyright Office had a registration certificate for the copyrighted work, or 2, the legal or beneficial owner of the copyright applied to register the copyright by delivering complete application, deposit, and fee to the Copyright Office. And the Copyright Office has not refused the application. Under USC blurgity blurg, the claim must include the registration number of the alleged infringement, or if the Copyright Office has not registered the work, a service request number for a pending application to register your copyright must be blurg. In the works infringed section of your claim, you identify the allegedly infringed work as a sound recording titled The Delphi Murders, The Leak, which you describe as an audio recording and script of a podcast episode. You state the Copyright Office has not registered. You state that the Copyright Office has not registered the work, and you provided blank, blank, blank as a service request number for pending application of the work. Copyright Office records for that application indicate that the office has not received a deposit copy of the work. The term, does this sound familiar? I'm just going to check in here for a minute. Does this sound familiar? Sound familiar? Yeah. So they go on to explain to Anya and Kevin what deposit means. Refers to a copy or copies of the work that must be submitted to the Copyright Office with the application of registration information about the deposit requirement is available here. Now, there are rules of court, there are rules of filing, there are rules of evidence, there's rules all over the law. And you just got to go online and find them, but they couldn't even do that. The board cannot hear this claim because the deposit copy of the work was not delivered to the Copyright Claim Board before it was filed. Because your work was neither registered nor subject to a complete pending application at the time, this claim cannot be successfully amended and cannot proceed. Instead, you would need to refile the infringement claim as a new claim in a proceeding after completion of application, right? Basically, you didn't do shit right. It's based on a work that doesn't appear to be covered by registration, nor is there a pending application for registration. We have not reviewed the remainder of your claim to determine whether it complies in other respects of the legal and formal requirements for the claim board. If you believe the above statements regarding your applications are in error, you submit blah, 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 do. And so then they go on to say, hey, here you can click on starting an infringement claim. Okay? Then they give you all the shit. And here's my favorite part. If you would like to seek further guidance from a lawyer or a law student, holy shit, that's fucking funny. I didn't read that part. I totally missed that. If you would like to seek further guidance from a lawyer or a law student at reduced or no cost. Oh, man. That's fucking funny as shit. So if Kevin and Anya need a law student to help them navigate, the problem is, though, y'all, and this is the last thing I'll say, because I do what the difference between hidden true crime and what and their copyright strike against Kresha and what I think will happen, and I think they'll abandon it. And what Murder Sheet did to Teresa is that Teresa had no idea that they had filed a claim against her. None whatsoever. So fast forward, like, I don't know, trying to think. It was the end. It was maybe almost a year ago. So fast forward, when Teresa called me and said, I was just served papers by the Copyright Claims Board, and it seems like Murder Sheet is suing me in small claims court. I'm like, that's fucking weird. They went back and went to the trouble of copywriting. They're so prickly and just vengeful. Apparently have nothing going on, that they went back and instead of just letting it stand and growing a thick skin and just moving on with their life, they went on and filed, and I have several, let me see here how many I have. I can't share them though, because they're not redacted yet. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they went on to file amended claims. So that meant they had to pay for the filing of the copyright to have it filed with the Copyright Board, and they listed several episodes. So they had to do it conceivably for each one of those, and I don't know how much it costs, but it took almost a year, or January, February, March, April, May, June, July. I think it was almost 8 months. So they stuck it out over the course of 8 months or so, right? In order to serve, like actually have a process server come to her house about a fucking copyright. Look, man, I gotta tell you, I do not give a shit enough about some of the things, you know, and again, that's a fundamental thing. It's a difference between print and if Anya was a journalist worth her salt, she would have known that podcasts are a different medium, that these things are a different medium than the written word. There's different rules and regulations governing the law of copyright. And when copyright is owned, like when you sign contracts, when I sign contracts or used to with outlets I would work with, you were assigning copyright. And then copyright would revert to the owner. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't think that Lauren and John have the wherewithal to do that because they have so many other things that are on the fire right now. Murder Sheet, I hope they slither on away into the sweet, sweet good night and get the fuck out of the Delphi case and just stop it. I'm sure they probably will at some point. I'm sure there'll be some other horrible thing that comes along and they can be all weird about it. But in the meantime, I would like to offer Kevin and Anya, much like the Copyright Claims Board, if you need a law student, to look over your shit, give me a call. Give me a call. I'll help you out. I know how to read. I mean, also don't call my shit frivolous, bitch. So anyway, so that's gonna wrap it up. And my life is getting busy again, thankfully. So I'm not gonna be around much, but I thought I'd jump on today and just try to dump a whole bunch of garbage here. So whatever. So yeah, law student. I love it. I love it. You know why? Because I get on my high horse because I really love the law. And I think it's under such assault in the United States, the rule of law, the basics of law, and then to have that guy not know enough about the law, or not even not know enough, but not even be able to follow the directions on a website. I mean, that's like hubris. That is, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Can't even do whatever. So I don't think that Hidden True Crime is going to stick it out and come back for Crusha. And in the meantime, I think that it's important to protect the work that you produce, what it is. Absolutely. And I'm not making light of that. What I'm making light of is Hidden True Crime and Murder Sheet for being real fucking dumb, in my opinion. As you can see there, it's all under the opinion. This is my opinion. In my opinion, they dumb. They dumb. What is this? Mad props. Oh, yes. Well, yeah, it's kind of it's a whole thing. It's it's not US law, so it's not anything that spectacular. It's common law, but it's not US law. I'm answering somebody's question. In my opinion, they are not real. Right? No, it's UK law. Actually, it's international law at University of London. So anyway, but yeah, it's all kind of the same thing with the common law, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, so that being said, I'm gonna be busy reading some boring stuff. Hi, come here, cucumber. Come here. Ooh, I'm gonna get you. Firm in the UK. Well, I'm hopefully not going to. I mean, I'm a Czech citizen. I'm a Czech and an American. My goal is to work at some phase on the continent, which the UK is not a part of, but it had an accessible, low residency sort of situation, LLB program. So that's what I'm doing. And we'll see. I'm old. I'm grumpy. It's a lot. And yeah. So, but the first year's out of the way. So, oh God, sucks. No, okay, but let's keep this in perspective. It's an LLB. It's not the same. Well, it's different. It's different than here. It's different than here. It's different than here, put it that way. But yeah, so my goal is to eventually go into international and human rights and asylum law. So anyway, in the homeland. So yeah, but that's kicking back up again. So anyway, I don't know. What else? What else, guys? What else? Oh, I'll still trust me. I mean, there's crazy shit's gonna happen, right? I mean, I'm gonna be creeping around the halls of YouTube. Looks like they may have documented the continent. The continent is fun. The continent is fun. Or he doesn't care about the law. I mean, that could be. Oh man. Oh, well, go eat some food. Salty sleeves. And law, and the thing is that it's funny because the other day when I made a cameo or I was featurette on Murder Sheet's 3-part screed about Andrew Baldwin's complaint against Nick McClellan, and listening to, and I didn't listen to all of it, but Anya and Kevin talking about how I'm some sort of YouTuber and just kind of like nah, just how funny it was that my claims were frivolous against him. I don't know, man. You didn't share all your work, but anyway, I wish them the best. Wicked smart. Oh my God, like Wendy Adelson. Me? No. Yeah, but the lawfare is unreal. And so that's what their claim was, is that I was trying to chill their speech by filing a complaint with the ethics board for Kevin and Anya Greenlee contacting Richard Allen, a represented third party, in April of 2024. And I'm like, left that part out. But anyway, it's not chilling your speech. Y'all have a fucking book. You know, it's okay. I have 69 videos on a YouTube page. And sure, I wrote for a lot of different outlets over the years, but give me a break. Yes. Look, whatever. Again, all the best. I'm sure that they'll do well in their future endeavors. But as always, you guys are the coolest, and just make sure you striving towards mediocrity, folks. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. What did you do? Oh my God. All right. I got to go watch these squirrels because this cat is now doing her little sidewind. But anyway, as always, I think you guys